Color guard, post colors.
Forward, arms. Lower, forward.
Oh, I didn't see these.
Mark side, mark. Mark side, mark. Right, peace. Prepare to post. Post.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance of the flag.
Present.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And for the French national anthem, La Marseillaise, it's going to be performed by Carl Sandburg High School French Club, Kelly Bergmark, Bridget Lynch, Narita Hearn, and Isabella Zarate. Please come forward.
Present. Cool.
Thank you, ladies.
Order.
For the Star Spangled Banner, Zoe Martinkus filling in for Fran Carnavelli, who can't be with us today. Zoe?
Present. Cool.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proud proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we've watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Order. Flag. Peace. Forward. 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 Forward.
Mayor Peacock, if you come forward with our guests, please. Please be seated. Not yet, I'll call you up. How many Marines do we have in the audience today? Please stand up. Today's a special day, and the students from OJH have something they want to say.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Not working? Oh, technical difficulties. On behalf of the Village of Orland Park and the Orland Park Veterans Commission, I want to welcome you all to our Veterans Day ceremony. I'd like to introduce some special people, and then I'm going to turn the mic over to the mayor for opening remarks. From our Board of Trustees, Mayor Keith Peacock, Village Clerk John Mahalik, Trustees Kathleen Fenton, James Dodge, Patricia Guerra, Carol Griffin-Ruzich, Daniel Calandrello, and Michael Carroll, Village Manager Joseph Lamargo, and the Orland Park Veterans Commission, Mike Raymond, Sal Estrada, Catherine Foster, John Marshall, Len Howard, Dennis Durek, Darrell Wertheim, Adam Wojcik, and Robert Mazurek. At this point in time, I'd like to have the OJH students bring up their wreath of honor. Two students bringing the wreath forward today, Lexi Grosso and Emily McDermott. Lexi has two brothers serving in the Army, U.S. Army, and Emily has a brother serving in the U.S. Army. This is in honor of all our veterans, those who are with us today and those who aren't. Thank you very much. I'd like to introduce Mayor Keith Peikoff for our opening remarks.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for coming out today. Thank you to our elected officials, Congressman Lipinski, Trustee Ruzick, Trustee Calandrello, Trustee Carroll, Trustee Dodge, Trustee Guerra, and Trustee Fenton for coming as well. A special thank you to Frederic Cholet for joining us as a representative from France. Most of all, thank you to the veterans and to their families, including mine. I appreciate you being here today. I will have more remarks later, but now I will turn it over for the blessing by Darrell Wortham.
Honor Guard, Mike Culver.
Good morning, everyone. I'm filling in for Reverend Don Borling from the All Saints Church this morning. He cannot be with us today. Let's bow our heads in prayer this morning. Veterans, what you mean to us, each of us, what you mean to our nation, what you mean to the journey we are on every day. It is more than just you. It is more than the uniform you wear. It's more than the years you serve. It's about a spirit embedded in the very fiber of your being. You give us hope. You give us courage. You remind us in life of what's important and what's not, who you are and what you stand for. Make it possible for each of us to be who we are today, to do what we need to do, to dream, to live in freedom, and to share the majesty and beauty of the human spirit dwelling inside the souls of each of us. Today we honor you. We ask God's blessing upon you. May the good Lord, known to us by many names, hold each of you in the palm of his hand. We love you, we cherish you, we are inspired by you, and we are in this together forever and amen. Thank you.
Honor Guard, Culver.
This time, I'd like to introduce our honored guest, the Honorable Frederic Collet, Deputy Consul General of France. Mr. Collet.
Dear veterans and distinguished guests, it is a great honor and privilege to be here with you today in Orland Park. Today is a special opportunity to take a moment to reflect and pay tribute to all the American veterans, America's heroes. It is not to be forgotten that today, all over the world, we are commemorating the armistice of November 11, 1918. We are honoring more than 60 million soldiers from 72 countries and 5 continents who participated in the unspeakable chaos of World War I. The United States alone mobilized over 4 million military personnel. For generations, American men and women in uniform have fought to restore hope and freedom to millions, and they have set a standard of courage and integrity for the entire world. Today, we are also honoring the men and women who served during the Vietnam War, and there are many in the room with us. History will always remember you, brave individuals who left your home and loved ones for the unknown, and all those who did not return. France and the United States are close allies, partners, and friends. Our common history is deeply rooted in our alliance in the face of conflicts through wars and revolutions. In times of difficulty, America and France have always stood side by side, supported one another, helped one another, and fought for each other's freedom. France was the first ally of the young United States and sent troops to help American colonies win their independence. Twice during the last century, the United States helped us to preserve our own independence and democracy. We will never forget. We continue to stand together today in our fight against terrorism, piracy, proliferation, and our work to promote peace, stability, and development around the world. This Remembrance Day reminds us of the steadfast resolve and resilience of our countries and of our people, and the values of liberty and democracy we share. Thank you.
At this time, I would like to introduce Daniel Lipinski, who is our representative to the U.S. Congress, 3rd District. Sir.
Thank you. I want to thank the Deputy Consul General of France for being here today. And no matter what I say, it won't sound as good because I don't have the French accent. But I thank you and the people of France for standing with the United States, and we stood together for more than 2 centuries now. And I had the opportunity back 3 years ago to be in France for the 70th anniversary of D-Day. And at that time, I was able to meet some of our heroes who stormed the beaches there, to hear their stories, be there as they're honored by the French government, and then to be at the commemoration of the Allies' commemoration of that great, but as we all know how difficult it was, the assault on the beaches there to begin to help free Europe from the Nazis. But it was in working together, the Allies working together, that we were able to turn back fascism and to stand up and save freedom. It's something that we've had men and women willing to do throughout the history of our nation. And we know without them, without many of you who are here today, our veterans, our freedom would not be possible. And there's never enough that we can do to thank you. And the thanks should not start and end on Veterans Day, should go every day. It's great to see all the students here, see the youngsters, because we all have to remember what these men and women have done for us. Because freedom is not free, and therefore we need to thank every day and help all of our veterans, no matter when they served or where they served. But especially those who are out there today still serving us, and those who are coming back from war. Please welcome them with open arms. Do all that you can for them. Remember them every day in your thoughts and prayers, and do all that you can every day for a veteran. So thank you very much. Thank you to all our veterans here today, And please, everyone, pray for all those serving us today and for all our veterans. And God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
I'd like to introduce Mayor Keith Peacock, make a presentation to the French government and make his remarks. Mayor Peacock.
Thank you again. Thank you, Congressman Lipinski, for your comments, and thank you, Frederick, for your comments as well. Greatly appreciated. And I promise after you hear this, we did not coordinate our remarks, which just speaks to how tightly bound France and the United States are. We are celebrating Veterans Day a day early. The history of Veterans Day is relatively simple. It was originally called Armistice Day and was changed to Veterans Day in 1954 to honor all veterans. The Treaty of Versailles was signed on June 28th of 1919 at the Palace of Versailles, something I highly recommend you visit if you get the chance because it is beautiful. It formalized the end of the Great War and the cessation of hostilities that actually went into effect on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918. Hence, Veterans Day is celebrated annually on November 11th. Today, aside from celebrating Veterans Day, we are joined by our country's oldest ally in France. This special relationship began on June 13th, 1777, when the Marquis de Lafayette reached America and joined General George Washington in the Continental Army as a major general. On February 6, 1778, this relationship was formalized with the Franco-American Treaty of Amity and Commerce. France was also critical in our country's growth, as Thomas Jefferson doubled the size of America through the Louisiana Purchase of 1803 from France. In 1884, France gave us the Statue of Liberty. She has engraved on her tablet July 4th, 1776, in Roman numerals. Without the alliance of France, we would not have been able to gain our independence. Our alliance continued in both the Great War and from the battles of and in World War II, where we repaid the favor and helped liberate France from the vineyards of Champagne to the beaches of Normandy. Personally, I have an uncle, an Army Air Corps navigator in World War II, buried in eastern France. Throughout the Cold War, our alliance through NATO was critical to defeating communism and led to the collapse of the Soviet Union and the Berlin Wall. As many of you know, I have 3 tours to the Middle East in support of the aftermath of Desert Storm and Southern Watch. Many of my combat sorties and missions included French air support. But most importantly today, we are here to honor our veterans. This year, we are honoring our Vietnam veterans in particular, and invited our French allies because they hosted the Paris Peace Accords, and we fought a common enemy in different decades. Our veterans of today's conflicts and those of World War II largely received warm welcomes upon returning home. The veterans of Vietnam were not so lucky. While I have run across a few people who have treated my service with contempt, they are outliers. For Vietnam veterans, this treatment was commonplace. They were scapegoats of a war-weary nation. For all of you Vietnam veterans here today, you all deserved better, and I thank you for your service. I doubt it is a consolation, but it's our nation's shame at your treatment that is ensuring that our soldiers of today, including myself, are welcomed home as the heroes they are. My operational squadron had a mural that was painted just after Vietnam with a quote that I think says it better than I ever could, and ironically it's very similar to our today's handout, except it's from a fighter pilot's perspective. In wartime, our POWs were not released because the enemy sent representatives to sit smugly at peace talks. They were not released because domestic anti-war groups unwittingly played in the hands of the enemy and tied the hands of their countrymen at arms. And they were not released because the enemy lost 5 airplanes to a select few called aces. They were released because brave men took their fighters downtown and spoke personally to their captors in the only language the enemy understands. iron bombs falling on their heads. I want to thank all of the veterans here today for their service, in particular, those of you who served in Vietnam. Today, I join the rest of us in giving you the recognition you deserve then and now. And with that, Frederick, could you please come up? We have a small token of our appreciation, which is a picture of our memorial for our veterans, our Apache Memorial, which is right outside. We moved it inside so everyone will be more comfortable with Orland Park Veterans Day 2017. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and be sure it will be in my office tomorrow.
So now I will announce the names, and it was with tremendous gratitude and pride that the Village of Orland Park adds these names to the Our Apache Place of Peace out front. Could I ask each of you and your families to stand when I announce your name? James Ingratta, World War II. John Ingratta, Korea. Raymond Cieslewicz, Vietnam. Willard E. Mormann, World War II. Melvin E. Mormann, Cold War. Robert R. Harmening Sr., Korea. Lawrence A. Doria, Afghanistan. Matthew D. Cargill, Iraq and Kuwait. Howard W. Habel, Vietnam. Eldon Shimek, Korea. Edwin E. Sinars, Vietnam. William J. Moran, Vietnam. Michael A. Rangel, Vietnam. Thank you all very much, and we really appreciate your service.
Every now and then you miss a name, and at this point in time, I'd like to have Mrs. Betty Peacock come forward to read the name we missed.
My husband, Keith Irwin Peacock, Iraq and Kuwait.
I knew she'd cry. We'll turn it over to the color guard.
Right, looking forward, march. To your left, to your left, to your left, right, to your left, to your left, to your left, to your left, right, left.
As taps is played, please keep in mind the memory of all those who aren't with us today.
Detail, halt. Right face. Order, arms.
This time I'd like to ask Zoe Martinkus to come forward again and sing God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Please be seated. All too often throughout history, both France and the United States have had to go to battle to protect our freedom, to protect our way of life. Please, for a moment, let's be silent and let's remember all those brave women and men who have protected our way of life and have paid for our freedom with their blood. Color guard, retire colors.
Color guard, set, up. Forward, forward. Forward, forward. Flag, peace. Prepare to retrieve colors. Retrieve colors. Lay up, peace. Column left, march. Order, march.
Please be seated. This ends the formal part of our program. For all you family members out there, tell your veterans just how proud you are of their service. Ask them to talk about their service. Doesn't matter what they did, whether or not they were in combat, whether or not they even served during a time of conflict, but for the grace of God, every man and woman who wears a uniform, they put their life at risk for all of us. So please, thank them, tell them how much you appreciate them, and make them talk about their experiences. Now, the table right in front of me, there's some blue cups. Those are from the St. Michael students, and those are for veterans. Everything else out there, the cake, the coffee, the cookies, those are for everyone else. And our Illinois Air National Guard landed a Black Hawk helicopter that's out in the park behind us. So if you have an opportunity, go out and visit it. It's certainly a huge improvement on a Huey, but they're still providing a great service. So again, on behalf of a very, very, very thankful village, thank you for your service. We love you, we honor you, and you'll never be forgotten. Thank you.